Hello everybody! Today I wanted to show you some activities that you can do to help prepare your hands to write. Sometimes we need to get our hands ready to write. Sometimes we just need to work on the muscles that get us ready to write. So I was going to show you some fun activities to do to get our hands ready to write. So one of the first things that I like to do is just see how well your hands work. Can you all make your fingers point? Just one finger, just a pointer finger. Now 2 fingers. Now 3 fingers, 4 fingers, all 5. Oh, watch this, ready? Can you make one hand do a fist? One hand in the hand, and now switch. And switch again. And switch back. Now both fists. Ooh, both high fives. And both fists. Now one point. Now the other one. And the fist. Ooh, I'm gonna go faster. And a high five. Ooh, it is tricky. Can you keep up? Oh, I did a finger and a high five. And double fist. Good job. Okay, you can do that as a game where you have a friend sitting across from you and the friend is going to do something and you have to do it. And then they'll do something else and you have to follow them. That's a really fun game when you have a partner to sit right across from, or your teacher can put their hands and then you have to follow whatever the teacher is doing. It's a tricky game, but it gets our brains thinking about what our hands are doing, and it works on all of those muscles in our fingers that help us write. The next activity I wanted to show was something with paper. Paper is super fun to play with. Whatever hand that you choose as your writing hand, I would call this your worker hand. So if you pick up a pencil with your right hand, this is your writing hand, this is your helper hand. So if I was gonna write, my helper hand holds my paper, my writing hand is the one that grips my pencil just right and does all the writing. If I was left-handed, it would be this hand that holds my pencil just right, and this hand's my helper hand, holds my paper just so. So that when I write, my paper doesn't slip around. My helper hand has to make sure my paper stays nice and still. So if my worker hand is my right hand, I'm going to do this with my right hand. I'm going to set it on top of a piece of paper. I'm going to just use my worker hand and I'm trying to crumple up that paper as best I can. I'm not going to use my helper hand. I'm just going to use my worker hand and I'm going to crumple it as small as I can. And this is the tricky part. Can you uncrumple that paper? Oh gosh. With just using one hand. Let's flatten it out here. Oh gosh. Oh, there we go. I did it. Now I'm going to let my worker hand take a break. I'm going to use my helper hand and I'm going to do the same thing. Oh, I got it. I'm going to crumple it up as tight as I can. Ugh, squeeze. Good job. And then I'm going to use my helper hand to straighten it all back out. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm now going to rip this paper as many times as I can, and you're going to see this is going to get really hard. I'm going to take it and I'm going to rip it. I'm going to use 2 fingers on each hand. I'm going to pinch. I guess I'm using more. I'm using all of my fingers on the back. I'm going to pinch and I'm going to rip. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the paper together. So I have 2 pieces of paper and I'm going to rip. And I'm going to put those together. I have 4 pieces of paper. Oh, this is going to get tricky. I'm going to rip it. Okay, here we go. 8 pieces of paper all together. I'm going to rip it. Oh my gosh, okay. That's 8, oh my gosh, I think this is 16 pieces of paper. I'm gonna rip all 16 now. Oh my gosh, I got them. Okay, I think this would be 32. We'll find out. Let's see, I'm gonna try to rip them. Ugh. can't do it. That's okay. I got my 32 piece of paper. I'm gonna take each one and I'm gonna turn it into a little ball. Oh, I'm just gonna turn them all into balls. Okay, I'm gonna have you guys do that by yourself. Your teacher can pause the video while you make all of these turn into little balls of paper. Once you're done, you can go take those and put them in the recycling. Another fun thing to do with paper is folding paper. One thing I like to do is see how many times I can fold a piece of paper. So I'll fold it on one end, line it up on one side there, and I fold it. I use my finger and I push all the way down. Then I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna bring this side to this side. I'm gonna fold it again. So I line it up, I pinch it here, and use one finger, and I push that side down. It's nice and folded. I'm gonna fold it again. This is fold number 3. I'm gonna take it, push it up. Oh man, it's getting harder. My fingers are really having to work now. There we go. Fold number 4. Oh boy. Oh man, it's getting tricky. Pinch, push. Fold number 5, I think. If you can get to fold number 5, you might be stronger than Mr. Nick. Oh, fold it. I'm gonna just pinch this time. Oh man, fold number 6. Oh, I kind of did it. That's fold number 6 is probably the hardest fold. Oh, it doesn't want to fold anymore. But folding paper, ripping paper, great way to build the strength in your hands. The next thing I'm going to talk about is clothespins. So a lot of times I like to use these to help build strength in my hands. So I can put it on a piece of paper. Maybe I'm trying to match some colors. Well, that one doesn't have a color. This one does. Here's a different light green, a brown. Or maybe if I'm not matching colors, I can use it to pick up small items and sort them into different buckets or areas. Or I can use my alligator one that I made. He likes to eat food and plop them in places. There's lots of different ways you can use these. So maybe I can also just add as many as I can to a single popsicle stick. So again, I have to pinch, 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 and put it on. Pinch and put it on. And same thing when I take it off. So I'm using my worker hand, my helper hand is holding it. I'm gonna pinch, pinch, and pull it off. Pinch, pull it off. Pinch, pull it off. All right. The next thing I like to do is a tennis ball feeding activity. I have the professor. That's what I like to call this guy. The professor likes to eat all kinds of food. So I pinch and I squeeze his ears and I feed him. Nom, 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 nom. He likes to eat all that food. So I pinch to pick up, squeeze, and I feed him that food. Nom, 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 nom. He doesn't like my fingers though. Don't eat my fingers. Pinch, squeeze, nom, 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 nom. Pinch another one, squeeze, nom, 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 nom. Last one, pinch, squeeze to open him up. Nom, 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 nom. And when he's full, sometimes he gets sick. Blah, blah. So that's another fun activity. And I'll use both hands. So this time my worker hand is going to be squeezing the tennis ball. My helper hand is going to be feeding him. Nom, 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 nom. Nom, 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 nom. Nom, 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 nom. Do one at a time. Nom, 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 nom. Nom, 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 nom. That's another great activity to work on hand strength. The next activity I have is tape. Tape is super fun to use and helps me build my finger strength and all those little muscles to help me do activities that I want to do. So I should have used tape that you could probably see better. But if I have tape and maybe it gets folded on itself, one of the best activities is unfolding that tape. And then I could cover a toy or a piece of Play-Doh. So I pinch and pull the tape off, pull it down to get more tape, and then I'll cover a toy or some other, Play-Doh, something with full of tape. And then I can use my fingers to pick all that tape off. And if you're really good with scissors, maybe you could also use some scissors to help cut some of that tape. Snip, snip, and then I will pull that tape off. And there we go. I couldn't see any of that because it was off camera, but it was on there and I pulled all that tape off. All right. The next activity that I like to talk about is using Play-Doh. With Play-Doh, opening it up sometimes is a challenge in and of itself. So I'll use my helper hand to hold the bottom and my worker hand pulls the top. Pull, pull, pull. Ugh. Pinch and pulled off that top. Now I have to use all my fingers to help get that Play-Doh out of the container. And once I get all that Play-Doh out, I gotta use my fingers, get nice and strong fingers to pull that Play-Doh out. Then I can do all kinds of fun things. Sometimes I can hide little beads inside of my Play-Doh. So I'll push it in there, and then I can squish it down, and now I have to pull it apart and look for the beads and pick those beads out, and I'll put them into maybe a little bucket or my Play-Doh container. Other things I like to do, I will roll it. So I'll use my worker hand and I'll roll, and I can even use my helper hand. I can roll it, pushing with my fingers into a long snake. Once I get the snake, I'll pinch each piece of that snake all the way down with my fingers, all the way down. Ooh. And now I have a snake a skinny little snake. It was a fat snake, now it's skinny. And maybe I'll pinch off a little piece, I'll put it in my hand and I'll roll it around into a circle. And then I have my nice little ball of Play-Doh and I'll squish that ball. And then I can do it again. I'll roll it around into a circle and then I'll squish that ball. I can do that all the way down my snake. Another really cool thing to do with Play-Doh, I'll turn this into a huge ball of Play-Doh now. Roll, roll, roll. Sometimes I can even roll it on the table. And then once I have a nice ball, I'll squish that ball and I'll turn it into a pancake. I'll use my fingers, make it the biggest pancake it could possibly be. Then I'll grab a pencil and I can write on my Play-Doh. Maybe I'll make a person. I'll make a big circle, 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, 2 ears, a body, some arms, some hands with fingers, some legs, and some feet. And there's my person. I like drawing with Play-Doh or drawing in Play-Doh with my pencil. It's a fun thing to do. Then I can turn it over and I can do it again. Maybe I can just do a letter. We'll do the letter N for Nick. That's my name. Big line down, jump to the top, slide down, line up. I can write in my Play-Doh. Do all kinds of fun things in Play-Doh. The last thing that I was going to show you is pencil races. Pencil races are fun. You can race your teacher. I like to always have my nice pencil grip. So again, my thumb is bent, my pointer finger is pointing to the tip. It's resting on Tall Man, my middle finger right there, and then the other 2 fingers are tucked in. So pencil races look like this. I can do it with both sides here. Do my best to make it look perfect here. So a pencil race is I can only use one hand. So if this is the hand, I have to use my fingers to slide the pencil all the way till I touch the green, and then slide it back all the way to the tip. And then back again, slide, 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 and back down. Whew, that is tricky. All right, and if it was like the race against a teacher, you would say, your teacher would show you on their camera, they'd say, ready, set, go, and you would race, race, race. Oh my gosh, get to the green and then go back. Oh, it's tricky, 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 and did it. Good job. And those are some fun activities to get ready for writing.